Time to go throw this in the washing machine. Needs it. Right, Willa? I'm adding my coat to laundry I had waiting to run, knowing the bags I was going to move had mud on them. Who remembers my zombie plants that I brought into the porch? And for those who don't know what zombie plants are, it's kind of a term I came up with when I started realizing when I left plants outside that I never got planted. They looked dead. I mean, they really looked dead, but there was something still alive about them. So in this case, I brought in my white bleeding hearts and a few other items, and I found out that months later, once the contractors left, they were sprouting underneath some things that I had covered them with. So I ended up making some homemade cloches and using some other glass domes I had in the house. I covered them up, and I want to show you what they look like now. This solidifies my thought about making the porch more like a greenhouse during the fall and winter seasons. So now I'm going to keep my eye out for tables that will be perfect to hold plants and even to start seedlings next year. Speaking of seedlings, on this particular outing, I am taking my stepdaughter to a nursery and greenhouse in Wilton, New Hampshire called House by the Side of the Road. And I brought her there not only to help me with herbs and flowers and plants for the garden, it was also a place to help both of us awaken our senses and just feel alive and do something different for the day, including looking at turtles and fish. And if somebody tells me to keep my hands off the turtles, I want to touch the turtles even worse, but I was good. All right, we came for herbs and some plants. So what do you say, let's go do that. Popcorn, free cookies, oh, coffee. Stepmom might want coffee. This is just one of the attached greenhouses. So much here. I see some garlic chive. I was actually going to plant that, but I might just buy it. Well, I'm sold. This strawberry mint smells amazing. I'll just have to plant it so that it doesn't take over. And I'm going to grab some orange mint too. They have some fun ones. I was looking for pineapple mint, and there's some lemon balm. This is great. I thought I'd take a moment and show you the herbs that I was just telling you about, because I actually have my table set up here. I did a photo shoot for something else, and here in the basket are the mints that I told you about. So we've got the chocolate mint, smells divine, orange mint, let's see. Oh, that's oregano, which I forgot. I forgot about the oregano. Strawberry mint, and somewhere here, is this somewhere here? Up here it is. This is the pineapple sage. So what I'm going to do with these, for the most part, is create cocktails around them. I used to make cocktails a lot for clients, for their parties. I made some for the magazine. So if you'd like to see some of these cocktails, comment below, and I will even try to make up some mocktails. Like, can you imagine this pineapple mint in a drink, lemonade? I just cannot wait. And if I had the ability to send you this scent, oh my goodness. Because also next to me, I have lavender. I'm gonna be planting a lot of lavender around the house. And then over here, I figure I'll show you while I have it. I picked up cat's pajamas, which I am now learning is a smaller version of the cat mint. And so it's only gonna get about, I think it said 12 to 13, let me see. I'm gonna take a second here and read the height. It is 12 to 14 inches high. Some get really high. And I want to be able to see the stone walls. I'm heading to get a bucket. I filled it yesterday while I was weeding. I cleaned up this whole area. But I'm going to be doing this as a project this year. Ben's going to be painting the shed. I have to find a really nice, beautiful red. But I want to show you this mess. I've been starting to clean it up. But wait a minute, there we go. Look at my mess in here. But I've got some plans. I was fighting constantly with some critter that kept coming in here and was tunneling past pipes. This was full of pipes the other day. Ben and I pulled those out. So I'm gonna fill that in. I'm going to do this whole area with some concrete. I'm gonna get a small bag and mix some up, probably in a week or two, just to start cleaning up this space. There's another one here. This was an old sugar shack, and then it was turned into a pool house. So my thoughts are it's going to become my garden shed, a drying shed, my she shed. I even have one of my old office desks in here. You might remember this was in the basement at Groton House for a while. I did some gardening on that. But I'm doing a little research of first how to kind of seal up some of the cracks here. I know I can't use like a spray foam, it will go through the other side. I'm almost thinking of putting some strips of wood and then something here on the inside because rain does come in through those holes. I just want to make it a little bit more weatherproof. But once I organize this and have places to hang things on the wall and some more shelves, this is going to be a really fun place for me. I'm trying to find that bucket. Oh, here it is. So this is a bucket I filled last week. I just have to, or the other day. I just want to dump it in the compost so that I can use it to clean out the strawberry patch. And let me show you the other side of this shed. This is another place we're gonna work in project, but we have some of our wood kept here, and then we put the evaporator back in here. We found an old door was left in here. And this is the piping that we pulled out. Two things of copper, so we don't know if it was a heated pool, if this was from the sugar shack once they were using their evaporator. No idea. But my thoughts are here is stone dust, floor, and then maybe some pea stone just to keep some of the moisture out and just to make it a little bit more usable. Tons of projects here we can do. So I'm going to need 2 hands to dump this bucket, and then I'm going to go, like I said, start cleaning up the strawberry bed, and I even have a few more to plant. Sounds like somebody's doing a lot of their own yard work. Over here is a lot of the mess from the pine tree that fell, and you can see in the distance there Ben and my stepson cut the tree. Unfortunately, when it fell, it pulled some of the bark off of it, but we put a very large birdhouse up there. Don't know if anybody will use it, but I'm going to paint that out and kind of make it disappear a little bit more at one point. But this is where I've been putting a lot of the yard debris, and I want to show you how many of the lilies are growing here from last year. So I'm going to keep putting a lot of the yard debris here, but the hopes is at one point this will be the area for all of the beautiful lilies that we will see when we're sitting in the backyard. In the distance here, this will be the wave of orange. I don't like having orange in my garden, but down here I think it will be beautiful to draw the eye in the back of the yard. And I have a very large pile. I'm just waiting to get a little bit more on there, and then I'll pull our burning permit, and then a good day we will get rid of that. But right now I'm going to dump this bucket and start working. I found this bucket actually buried, pretty much buried by the side of the sugar shack there last year. Never even cleaned it out. It was just full of mud and dirt. Ben actually had to kind of get it out of the ground for me. So I thought it would be perfect to use for cleaning up small areas, and then I can just walk it down. Working in the yard is going to be one of my main ways of working out. I also have my gym that I've been going to quite frequently again. But once I'm gardening, sometimes you don't need to get to the gym, especially when you're lifting bags and squatting. But I want to show you something here. This little basket I've used so many times, so many different ways. I actually just filled these here to come outside, and this is what I wanted to show you. In my last video, I mentioned I'm not good at growing vegetables. Well, the fact is, it's because I've never allowed myself to learn a lot about vegetables while I'm focusing on flowers. Always grew them as a child in our family, but I pretty much was just following my mom's lead. This book I picked up last year, Month by Month Gardening here in New England, and it really is going to be something I'm going to be reading all the time. Now with the strawberries, I just read and learned that it is now time for me in April to remove the mulch. I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to clean this up. I've already done some weeding. I got a few more there. And then I did buy a few more strawberry packs, just to give this box a little bit of an oomph, because last year it really didn't produce anything. A couple maybe. I'm going to make sure I keep it covered, because now the bears are out and porcupines are out, and they love berries and all of those kind of things. So I'm going to be working on this, and I'm just noticing also, did I show this as a craft project a couple years ago? If not, I might try to insert it if I can find it. If not, I'll do it another. I did this for fun. I used a napkin and I decoupaged it on a handle just so I could keep finding these. This has lasted 3 years. Hard work. And it still looks like this. Once again, just a paper napkin, decoupaged. I know many of you have probably seen this craft project before, but I thought this would be a cute idea for personalizing garden tools for friends, for hostess gifts, and also for yourself. I mean, I love pulling this out to garden. I might even do this on very long handles of shovels and rakes, and then nobody can say it's theirs. It's mine. You can tell it's mine. Anyways, I'm going to get going on some work here. Don't know if it's going to start raining. Oh, I just got a raindrop in my eye. So I'm going to still do this project while I can. I think last year I found a little tag of the strawberries that she planted. And I'm going to check in my journal to see if I did save that note. And I have this tag These are called Eversweet that I'll be planting. All right, I'm going to actually swap out my gloves. And I'm going to put these plugs in now, or these new plants, not plugs. I already have some flowers and some berries here. So I think tonight, seeing that there's no sun out right now, I'm going to shut this cover just in case, because like I said, we do have bear and I don't want them getting this garden before we do. I'm going to plant these knowing I'm going to add a little more soil into some of the low areas and to cover some of the roots. Let's see. And I can move some of the soil over. Oh, it looks pretty good down here. Actually, it looks a lot like maybe with some yard compost here too. That's going to work out fine, just taking some of that. I'll make sure I don't break off the strawberry. Tuck and roll. I'll have to wash this jacket too next. Oh, I've got two different types. Okay, so how I'm going to keep this, I'm going to do, this is Honoi, H-O-N-E-O-Y-E, Honoi. So I'm going to put this on this side, and then the others, which is Eversweet, will go on this side. Did not know I had different types. Good to know. Glad I read the labels as I was purchasing them. I ended up heading inside after I went to get Willow. Thought the rain was going to start, never did, but I thought I'd show you what I accomplished. I ended up putting and cleaning out these two boxes so far. What I did notice is that I only found 1 or 2 worms when I was doing this one and raking it all around with some grubs. So I got rid of the grubs. And then when I opened up the bag of compost, manure, and the garden soil, I was so pleased to see that the garden soil was full of worms, because I was actually going to go start digging some and bringing them here to the garden. And so this was 4 bags total, 2 compost, 2 garden soil, and then this particular one I ended up doing 1 bag of each, and then I used some of that also here over at the strawberries. So I'm going to be doing the rest of the beds the same way. I'll be taking the straw up, and I need to get more. Willow, come over here. Come over here. She took off a while ago and terrorized the neighborhood. So yes, this is getting ready. Now over here, this box that I filled in last year, unfortunately, I can already see things growing, so whatever I did didn't work. Whatever this is pushing against the weed blocker, and it broke through the weed blocker, and it's also coming up through this bark mulch. My thoughts were, I think this is a tree actually. That's a shame, because this, like I said, this is just pushing right up against that. I'm gonna do a leaf snap and see what this is. My thoughts were, before I just saw that, I was going to raise the height of this box and use this for potatoes. But this has been a stinker for a couple years now. I don't know what that is. The garlic is doing awesome.
I wish I did more than 5 cloves, but I did what I had. I wanted to use an organic clove that I knew came from a local farm, and that's all that was left when I decided to plant this in November. So that worked out well. Yeah, that's got me in a pickle. I was so excited to, like I said, raise the wood sides and put my potatoes in there. So now I'm not sure what I'll do. I could plant them in a container, but I would rather use a raised bed. I guess I can always build another one somewhere. Not sure where yet. Actually, I have some over here I could also modify, but this all needs to be redone. Speaking of redone, I finally was able to hire somebody, or was able to find somebody to hire to help me with some gardening here or there. And I need to thank you, the viewers of this channel, because your watching has allowed me to be able to hire somebody to help me out with the gardens. I do this for a job now, and once again, thank you for watching, because the income that it's producing here on YouTube has allowed me to bring in some extra hands to help me get this property just to where I want it to get to, so that I can then take over. It's the same company that's going to be doing our walkway. So I was pleased. They're coming in with their crew, I think at the end of the month. They were going to do cleanup. I'm like, I got most of the cleanup done. So we're going to be moving lilies. They're going to edge the garden beds for me, and they're bringing a huge truck full of bark mulch. So we'll get that going.
Today's simple pleasure was watching a ladybug walk amongst the flowers in our kitchen. It made me realize something. We can learn a wonderful lesson by watching this little ladybug. And lucky for you, I have an editing tool, so I watched her a lot longer than you need to. I was imagining that she wanted to get to the top, and I'm going to call her she because it's a ladybug. Hello. Is there boy ladybugs? Boy bugs? I don't know. It traveled up and down several leaves until it found its desired destination. We might find a lot of detours and roadblocks during our quest to better ourselves and enjoy life, but if we keep trying, we will someday find what brings our soul joy. There were a lot of ups and downs and dead ends. She chose not to fly. She went at it slowly and finally reached her destination. And I'm going to imagine that she's very happy right now. Now let me show you where she was and the area she was enjoying. I ended up purchasing some purple hyacinths that are also going to go outside, but I kept them inside for now. I put them in a basket I had here on hand, and I added a few more accessories to the corner. I also moved the print that was where the mirror is now over to the stove, and I really like how it's starting to pull together, and the print that's over the stove now is in the same space that it was in Groton House, and I really like it there. Now, if you're watching this Sunday, I myself am driving home from Essex, Connecticut. These are photos from April 2017 when we last visited, and I'm hoping that next week I will have a beautiful video for you to see of the town of Essex and then some other surrounding towns in Connecticut. But until then, I will see you later and enjoy your week. Bye now.